Breakfast is Tech Talk with Matthew Dixon.
Okay, I buy a phone, right?
Sure.
Good morning, by the way.
Yeah, good morning to you
It's
too.
6 to 8 on Tuesday Breakfast. I buy a phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's got an inbuilt disposable unit, hasn't it? I mean, it's got a use-by date. It's got a built-in obsolescence.
Yeah, I think everything we buy does have.
No, don't tell me it's a water heater which only has 10 years life. But when I bought my phone, I didn't know it was going to expire.
Well, you probably weren't very smart then, were you? Because everything expires from day dot when we bought
When I
stuff.
bought my first mobile, it went for years.
That's right, but it still expired.
No, I decided to trade it up.
That's right.
It wasn't not functioning. I decided to, I'll trade it up. I still have it, and if I put a battery in it, it would work.
Yeah, and so would any phone you buy now. Will keep working for a long time.
However, with the new zaps that are on the bling and the trinkets and the bits and pieces, it won't work.
Well, it'll keep working, but whether you will have it working the way you want it to, a Model T Ford still probably goes, but I don't see too many of them out on the road.
I do. There'll be a rally this weekend and you'll be able to see
That's
them.
right, you might have a few rallies, but every product we buy has got some sort of use by date.
And what I'm thinking is that because of this COVID-19, we've had to use our cells differently, haven't we?
Well, smartphones certainly came into the realm a lot more because suddenly we had to learn what a QR code was and then learn how to use a QR code. And then the government did things like said, if you want to go into a cafe or some hospitality areas, you've got to have a QR code scan. And so for some people who had an old flip phone or even people who had an old smartphone, the obsolescence was there because they go and try and scan it. It wasn't able to scan.
So you guys in tech and the government got together.
That's right. It's a conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy.
COVID was a tech conspiracy. There you go. You've heard it here first.
I've heard that too, I tell you. Matty Dickinson. So the mobile that you bought 2 years ago could be obsolete.
Well, for a whole range of reasons, it could be. It could be the software that it's running. It could be the amount of memory that's on there. You take lots of photos, lots of videos. It could be some new feature that you want. But there is no doubt about it that every device, every electronic device, every product that you buy has got some sort of built-in obsolescence, not from some evil conspiracy to sell more product. Sure, that's maybe part of it, but it's because we as consumers want more things. We want better product. We want a car that gets better fuel economy. We want a phone that does scanning of QR codes. So we want extra features. They get built in. And then if none of us bought the new products, whatever they might be, then the manufacturers would say, well, there's no point in making those new products. But we do. We buy the new products.
Yeah. So if I buy a phone now, how long will it last?
Well, I would say you're going to get 2 years out of it easy. You might get 5 years out of it.
We'll go for the cheapie.
Well, it depends what you want. It really has come down to horses for courses. Buy what suits you, but it depends on your needs. So I've got some people who every year will come and buy a new phone because they need or want, whichever it might be, the latest features. Must have.
Because the government conspires with you techies.
Well, probably
to put something else out.
Probably not a year they're going to upgrade, but the people who upgrade every year, for example, might want a slightly better camera. And we're talking about incremental changes here. But some people can go, well, I can have for 5 years because I don't care about it that much. And if the camera takes a photo, it's not the best resolution, whatever. But there is no doubt about it that COVID-19 in this country did drive sales of certain tech products. I mean, we saw people buy more computers, more tablets, and more phones for a whole range of reasons. I mean, video calls, that type of thing. But the COVID-19 app specifically wouldn't run on older phones. So there were people.
How old?
Oh, some phones that were, again, depending on the exact model they bought. If they bought a cheapie, it might have only been a phone that was, say, 3 or 4 years old. If they bought a more expensive one, it might have been 4 or 5, because it came down to when the government said to an app developer, please go and design an app for us, they said, okay, we'll assume that everyone's got this sort of standard of phone, this operating system. So if you haven't got that, bad luck. So the government really didn't make people upgrade from old phones, but it really did in some way force the hand, because if they want to participate...
they were losing out money because there used to be the PMG, where they got money,
back now.
And they flogged it off, and they thought, oh, hang on, we'll get to Matty Dickinson and Axis and we'll get him to invent this new thing where you have to... So let's do hypothetical in the last minute we have, Matty Dickinson. I go into a shop now and buy a cell. Should the salesperson tell me this is like the bottom line, be prepared to throw it away in 2 years?
Well, not so much in those terms, but I suppose there's an understanding that when a consumer buys any product,
specifically a phone.
Yeah, but take your water heater, take your car.
Well, that lasts 10 years of water heater.
I don't think many people say, oh, by the way, when you buy this, sir, it's going to be no good to you in 2 years'
But
time.
what I'm saying is be prepared for it to have its use by date.
There will be a use by date, and sometimes people do buy a better phone because they say, well, I don't want to upgrade in 2 or 3 years' time, so give me the best you've got now, and that'll last me
That's good
longer.
advice.
Yeah.
Rather than buy the $1 one, buy the $10 one.
That's exactly it.
Might last a bit longer. There you go. So, like all of us, like human beings, have an
We are.
obsolescence.
You're right.
We're obsolete.
Yeah,
soon.
yeah, 120 years, we're gone.
120. I was planning on 200. Matthew Dickerson, thank you.
Thanks, Richard.
Conspiring with the government.